To understand the moon in Taurus, we'll use the same technique that we've been using to understand any planet in any sign. It's a simple technique of looking for resonance between what the planet symbolizes and what the sign symbolizes. And we find two types of resonance, one dissonant and one harmonious. Dissonant resonance is where the planet and the sign are on the same topic but at opposite ends of the spectrum. And harmonious is where they're on the same topic on the same end of the spectrum. The dissonant resonances produce difficult, complicated results. And the harmonious resonances produce simple, clear, strong, effective, nice results. Now, with the moon in Taurus, you would have to scratch your head to come up with a dissonant resonance. And sure enough, the moon is said to be exalted when in Taurus. It's in its highest dignity. So I'm going to say a little bit more about that particular topic, moon's exaltation, and what exaltation really is all about at the end of this video. First, let's do our step-by-step. So the first thing is, as you would have noticed if you're following along with any of my planet and sign videos, or even just the previous one, which was moon in Aries, a lot of the base symbolism of a planet or a sign, it has to do with its gender. But when you start off with female planet and a female sign, or male planet and a male sign, then you get harmony at the base of the symbolism between the planet and the sign. And so that's certainly the case here, because Taurus is the first female sign in the zodiac. It's very, very archetypically feminine, belonging to Venus, having the fertile earth element, being a fixed mode. It's very, very feminine. The moon represents the inner self, and therefore it represents inwardness and femininity. So for both of these entities, the sign and the planet, the gender is very deep in what makes it what it is, and it's aligned. So you know you're going to have positive interpretations almost entirely come out of the moon in Taurus, and basically they're going to be along the lines of feminine prosperity. And if you just look at Taurus's tree of symbolisms, you can base that's all the associated subjects to femininity: love, loyalty, beauty, arts, etc. All those things will prosper basically. But let me point out some of the specific ones that particularly prosper because of how they synergize with the moon's qualities. First of all, Taurus is very beautiful because it's Earth and Venus, and Earth is health. So the moon, because it has to do with the mother, and because the mother produces the body, the moon also really symbolizes what you look like, which is ironic or confusing because at its root, the moon symbolizes the mind. But this also illustrates that the mind is the root of the body. The mind produces the body. And it's just a simple fact that the moon is the most compelling and beautiful object in the night sky, and in any sky. So the moon really signifies what things look like and the level of the beauty that they have. So Taurus is a very beautiful sign. Moon is a very beautiful planet. That's one of the things that really prospers when you have moon in Taurus. The person is very beautiful. The kind of beauty that comes in an earthy way, especially, or a Venusian way, which is a very real beauty, a beauty that sprouts from health, for example, a beauty which is reflective of the inner quality rather than hiding an inner thing. That's the kind of beauty that we get from moon in Taurus. And along with this, you're getting good health and beauty, and you're also getting fertility. Now, another thing to bring up is that Taurus, because it has to do with beauty, therefore it has to do with arts. And because it has to do with arts, it has to do with learning. And it's an intelligent sign. Venus is characterized as an intelligent planet in Vedic astrology. It's a Brahmana planet. Now, the moon has to do with your mind, and especially with your ability to concentrate, or whether you'll fluctuate or drift, or whether you'll concentrate. So with the moon in Taurus signifies a mind that can absorb a lot of experiences, become an experienced person. That type of learning results with the moon in Taurus, a person that gains a lot of experience quickly, concentrates on things well, therefore could study well. And then ancillary to this is the subject of learning is what we call arts and sciences. Venus especially is associated with the arts. So the moon, because it's a fluctuating planet and it deals with concentration, it also deals with timing and rhythm. Fluctuations means rhythm, pulses, and that's about timing. So with the moon in Taurus, you also get a lot of creativity. Musical talent is very likely with the moon in Taurus. Artistic talent in general, creativity, expressiveness, good attention span, strong intelligence. Yet another thing to bring to your attention is that Taurus has to do with wealth. Beauty is actually one type of wealth. Taurus is wealthy sign because it's all about producing things from the earth. The bull tills the earth and you get produce. So the moon, since it represents the mind, it's a desires symbol. It's a symbol of desire. Desires have to do with our intent to acquire things. So when you put the moon in Taurus, what you get is a synergy between the desire for acquisition and the ability to acquire. Taurus provides the ability to acquire, and moon provides the desire to acquire. So one base interpretation for the moon in Taurus is wealth. And finally, the moon is very domestic. The moon is the inner self. So it has to do with internal things, private things, inner spaces, the home, the private area. It's a domestic planet with the things associated with domestic stuff, which is relationships, families, etc. Taurus is also family-oriented. It's cooperation-oriented, belonging to Venus. It's unity-oriented, love-oriented, loyalty, endurance, stability. So with the moon in Taurus, the domestic nature of the moon harmonizes very well with the loyalty and love and cooperation nature of Taurus, giving us type of a good relationships, cooperation skills, fidelity in love, any kind of love, paternal love, parental love, familial love, romantic love. So now it's very easy to see why the moon is exalted in Taurus, because there's so much synergy. Exaltation is a state of dignity which is considered superior to a planet being in its own place. When a planet's in its own place, like for example, if the moon were in Cancer, or if Venus were in Taurus, that would be an example of the planet being in its own sign. And that's a very high state of dignity. There's a lot of synergy there. There's a lot of harmonious resonance, obviously. But it's considered slightly inferior to the exaltation state. So what's the difference between being in your own place and being exalted? The difference is that when you're exalted means rising. So there's going to be some slight pinch on your butt that makes you get up out of the chair and do something, which is present in the exaltation situation, but not present in the comfort of your home in your own sign. So whenever you analyze a planet in the sign that it's exalted in, you'll find there's a bucket load of harmony between the planet and the sign. But there's one or two little things that seem like they might be dissonances. And it's those one or two little things that challenge the planet, whereas the bucket of harmony empowers the planet to overcome the challenge and rise and exalt. So in this case, it's the moon being a fluctuating planet that it gets challenged by being in Taurus. Taurus is very firm, it's very patient, it's very enduring. So that's the challenge for the moon, is to deal. It's a planet that loves to change, but here it's in this environment where it has to deal with endurance, patience, fidelity, long-termness. But that doesn't wind up being a spoiler it winds up being the little pinch or the little fire, the little spark that gets the moon to overcome one of its inherent flaws. And that's the nature of a planet in exaltation, is that it gets inspired to overcome one of its inherent flaws. So one of the key things about the moon in Taurus is that the person will have concentration, determination, and that is really the key to all of their success. So we'll wrap it up there, and I just want to remind you that I'm showing you the backbone of how to interpret a planet and a sign, and I'm showing you the backbone of what the moon in Taurus means. But the specifics of a moon in Taurus in somebody's chart have to do also with what else is affecting that moon. The moon is not alone in a chart. There might be other things in Taurus. There might be other things aspecting the moon. The moon may be the ruler of such and such house and not of another house. All these things will modify the interpretation. But from this video, you know what will be modified. So I hope you get some clarity about moon and Taurus from this, and stick around with me on my YouTube channel to see all the rest of the planets and the signs. It's going to be all interesting like this. Thank you so much.